Well, it's been 1 year and 25,000 miles with the beast here. Been quite an eventful year. Ran a bunch of iron butt certifications. Ran a bunch of iron butt extreme certifications. Ran the iron butt rally. Could have done better on that one. Pretty much turned into my everyday daily driver, commuting back and forth to work, running down to the bank, zipping around Orlando, stuff like that. Been through 5 oil changes, need a new set of brakes, but you know, like everything else, they ain't in stock. I just put on my 4th set of tires, put some stuff on the bike, took some stuff off the bike. I think I got a pretty good feel of this thing. Now the big question is, of course, after that much time and that many miles, what do I think of it? I think I wasted my money. Do I have regrets? Am I glad I bought it? Mostly, I guess this is the best bike I ever owned. I love it. Is it perfect? No. But these things run. The thing runs great. Got to the point where I can depend on it now, even though it does some weird stuff from time to time. But it does everything I need it to, pretty much when I need it to. It's about all you can ask for a bike. I'll start off first, what are the things I like about this bike? Well, I absolutely love the power of this thing. Engine is awesome. This is a solid engine. Got a feeling it's going to be around for a while. They've had some hiccups and problems in productions. A few people have had to have them replaced and things like that. But fortunately, I haven't had any trouble with mine, and these motors are running good. They run. Smooth, wide power band. Amazing. Pretty much from 3,000 to as high as you want it. Gas mileage is actually fairly decent on this thing. 5.5 gallon tank. I usually get somewhere around 240 miles a tank full or so. Can't complain about that in the slightest. The electronics are good. As far as the dash, the information, all kinds of interesting stuff there. Now, one other thing I absolutely love about this bike is the handling. Handling on this bike is more like a sport tourer than a sport adventure bike. Thing goes where you think you need to go instantly without a problem. I can honestly say that in leg 1 of the Iron Butt Rally, the very first night, the handling of this bike saved my life. I ain't really talked about it before, but I almost got hit head on by a car that was going the wrong way down the interstate, and if it wasn't for this bike instantly snapping where I thought I needed to go, especially when the guy swerved at me, I wouldn't be here. If I'd been on the Crossbones, I'd been on that BMW 800, anything else except maybe the Sporty after I had it modified for racing, I wouldn't have been able to get out of the way. This bike right here saved my life that night. Now, is this bike perfect? Of course not. No bike's perfect. All machines are compromises. All motorcycles are an even bigger compromise because you don't have enough wheels. Then out of all of them, adventure bikes got to be about the biggest compromise there is, because it's kind of trying to do everything. And this is the first time Harley tried something like this. So while it may not be perfect, I think they did quite an outstanding job of it. Now there are some problems. Some of them are just problems that all adventure bikes share, and some of them are problems that are unique to this thing. Some of the really irritating stuff, like it being incredibly top heavy, that's just an adventure bike thing. It kind of made me mad because I had so much trouble with it out in the Mojave, but I would have had just as much trouble with that BMW out there. Maybe not so much with the Sportster, and Crossbones was almost like a weeble wobble. It would have almost stood up on its own. Personally, I think the gas tank, it's good for everyday use, but what I would have liked to seen Harley do is something kind of like what BMW does, where they have their GS and their GSA. I'd like to see Harley have like maybe a Pan America SA, have either a bigger gas tank out here, or maybe did something with the air box that takes up like the whole center section of this gas tank. Maybe get it up to 6 or 7 gallons or something like that. That would have been a little bit nicer to be. Would have made it a little more top heavy, but you don't get something for nothing. Some people aren't going to like it because it don't sound like a Harley. Well, it is what it is. Don't bother me in the slightest. I'm more interested in how the bike runs and how it sounds. And what don't I like about this thing? Biggest thing I have an issue with this bike on is parts. Straight out. Last year, the way everything was all messed up, sure, I'll give them a pass. I've had the front fender and some of the front wiring components on back order now for 10 months with absolutely no idea when they're going to be ready, when they're going to be available or anything like that. A year after I broke the front fender and messed up some of the front wiring in the iron butt rally, I'm going to be taking it out with the same broke fender and the same messed up wiring to the Hoka. And the way things are going, I might wind up running the iron butt rally with the broken parts next year that I broke in the iron butt rally last year. Now, I understand that there's issues and problems and stuff, but you know, we're talking about a front fender here. That ain't high tech. You know, some of it I just got fed up with. You can see I ain't running Harley panniers on there. I'll get around to doing a video as soon as I got the time on what they are and how I like them. But pretty much after half a year of them being back ordered and me searching around and seeing that there's dealers that are sitting on them down in Miami that have them but no bike to put them on, you know, I said forget it. I dumped those and I got me a set of the Fill in the Heroes. I like them, but like I said, I'll do another video about those later. PCM updates, it's been more of an irritation than a problem. You know, they've fixed some of the early problems they had, like pushing the button, it not starting and not being able to do anything about it for 10 minutes, then it'd start right up, things like that. But they've had a little bit of problems with their updates, it seems like. I've got everything running, no longer have the problem with the no starts, but I seem to have lost power to the USB again, and the heated grips don't work as heated grips anymore. And all that happened after the last update. It just seems like they're addressing the big problems, but then they create little problems, and then they have to go back and address those too. It's a rough learning curve. They're not used to dealing with a bike like this, but it falls under the category it's irritating, but I can deal with it. The side stand is still irritating. I've come close to dropping it a couple of more times, even though I'm completely aware of it, but that's just the nature of it. I don't know if I'll ever get completely used to it, or I'm just going to get really good at picking it up off the left side. Now, one thing you may have noticed right here, I went ahead and added those rubber knee pads. On the way back from the Missouri rally, I had a real hairy emergency stop in a construction zone. Yet another one of the workers wandered right out into traffic, staring at his cell phone. I think he realized how close to getting killed he was. You know, not when I slammed on my brakes and managed to swerve, but when the semi that was behind me, tailgating way too close for a construction zone, slammed on his brakes and was doing all the skipping and hopping and stuff, and he looked up and he saw it come to a screeching halt probably less than 20 feet away from him. But when I slammed on my brakes like that, I wound up riding the tank bed, even though I was gripping it about as tight as I could. So I decided these will give me a little bit better grip the next time it'll happen. And I'm saying the next time it'll happen because that's about time number 6. A construction worker that hadn't been looking where he's going has walked straight out into traffic, either in front of me or in front of somebody else. I don't know. Getting tired of watching it. One of these days I'm going to watch one of them get killed, and I really don't want to see that. Now, one thing I have kind of changed my mind on, you all probably remember in one of the early ones I was really irritated with the chain and all that. Kind of come around the other side on it now. Got a new chain on this thing, and actually the break-in period with this chain was no big deal at all. You know, it only took a few adjustments, nothing special. I haven't had any issues at all. Chain oiler is still working good. So, I don't know. Maybe the guy that was supposed to pre-stretch that last chain just didn't pull hard enough or something, because this chain has been without problems. So overall, what do I think? 1 year, 25,000 miles. I still love this bike. I'm glad I bought it. I'm glad I had it. Really glad I had it that one night in Utah. No buyer's remorse, no regrets. Few problems, most of them have to do with part supply, but overall, I'm going to pick up the pace. I don't know how many miles I'm going to put on it, but Iron Butt Association does have this thing called the 100,000 Mile Club. After I get done running the Hoka, I'm going to see how many miles I got, how many months I got left, and I may take a shot at seeing if I can rack up 100,000 miles in a year. Only time will tell. Well, that's it for now. Bottom answer is, I love the bike. I'm glad I bought it, and I plan on keeping it a good long time. Catch y'all later, and be safe out there.